And we have gone through 6 of these 7 stages of cultivating a way of bringing freedom to our world that is in turbulence and challenging. And how do we actually cultivate a state of bringing freedom into the world rather than needing the world to be a certain way for us to encounter freedom, whatever that might be. This is the sort of the important part of this here. And really, it's a yogic path in many ways, but it's a path not just of any kind of meditative capacity or prowess, but really it's a way of cultivating a view. It's a way of transforming ourselves despite what is happening in the world. So we started with naked awareness, just this opening into the underlying nature of mind as fundamentally clear and open and really quite natural. We can also call natural awareness. Um, this is something that we do by cultivating mindfulness and what we also can call shamatha practice, which is sustained attention on breath or the object of awareness, of attention, until the mind settles and opens, and then opens up enough to reveal this very calm, quiet sense of awareness, of presence. And then moving into the second stage of refuge renewal. What does that mean? What does it mean to cultivate refuge, not as an escape, but as a way to kind of pivot and respond to the world in a way where we are energized and empowered, not running away from anything, but choosing to change our view and re-energize ourselves, so that we can really respond and show up in a way that we feel good about. And then the third was discerning the middle way, really seeing things in terms, not in terms of dualities, which is so seductive. All of us caught up in this: good, bad, right, wrong, worthy, unworthy, all of those dualities. And here it's really about saying, okay, not being content with just the pendulum, but seeing, okay, what is the beyond here? What is the state that takes it beyond? This is a path of discernment. It is the way of sort of seeing past just sort of the mundane, ordinary, reactive habit bodies that we all have. And so, how do I see through? How can I see beyond that? And that is its own cultivation. It's really the heart of our practice, is that this awareness, when it has refuge and renewal, opens up to perceiving things more as energy, more as non-dual, as opposed to things that are fixed and so on. And then from there, the fourth stage is cultivating equanimity, a sense of stillness through equanimity, according to the Buddha's teaching, um, of like the water dropping on the lotus leaf. Instead of getting absorbed, it kind of rolls off, right? This quality of mind that is highly engaged, not indifferent at all, but highly engaged, but without preference. It's an evenness of mind, and that leads to stillness. And then from stage 4, we move into impermanence, seeing impermanence. This, now we have the stability. We have the sort of the rootedness and the stability from which to see all things as being in constant change, despite how they appear on the outside. And sometimes what we're seeing that is disturbing is part of the change too. We see a backlash. We see people showing themselves for who they really are on the public scene and so on. But that's also not the end of the story, because of the truth of all things being in change. And so rather than it being impermanence, being a sense of loss, it's a generative place. It's a place of creativity. This is the nature of impermanence. This interdependence of factors and causes and conditions constantly coming together and dispersing. When we can realize that, we also are able to see the suffering of others more clearly, because all of us are subject to impermanence, whether we like it or not. And then, as a result of that, we move into the 6th stage, which we did 2 weeks ago: fierce compassion. We are able then to respond to suffering, the suffering that we see, with a sense of love, with a sense of openness of heart, but it's also a strong heart. It's a heart that has force to it. Not all things go, right? But that we can put up boundaries and we can say this doesn't work, but we don't have to devalue the other person in order to do those things. But we can actually bring a sense of completeness and clarity and voice to our compassion. Compassion isn't this fluffy kind of, hey, it's all good kind of thing, but it also has a strength to it. And this is something that deities, what we call fierce wisdom, um, the wisdom nature of the wrathful deities, are trying to teach us about, and being strong in the midst of an open heart. And so today we arrive here, the seventh stage, realizing the path. This is a fun one. This is really a fun one. Um, and so what I'd like to do is read to you a couple of things. We'll do some practice, and then we'll sort of unpack a little bit. What does this mean? What does it mean to be on a path, to commit to it, to have a path that is rich and all-encompassing, a path of totality, meaning nothing is off the path. You know, all of our lives, all of our messiness, all of who we are, and all of what we encounter is part of it too. This is the tantric view. So this is a fun one, I think, that we can also see where you all are, and that you can reflect a bit. If you were going to, let's assume you have a path. Let's not pretend we don't have one. We're all on one, or we wouldn't be here on this call. So how would you name your path in 3 words? Yeah. This is like one of the assignments at Harvard. It's truncate it down to very clear, concise expression. What is your mission statement? You can also say it that way.